So I am a 3D VTuber. I spent a lot of time and effort working on my model, and that's probably been my life for the last like 2 years or so. Just like building up my stream and getting it at that quality that I really desired. And yeah, I just that's pretty much me. I have a great interest in the VTubing sphere, the marketing, the like social and business aspects of VTubing in general as well too. I have my finger on the pulse of a lot of VTuber news and what have you, because of that interest. And yeah, that's pretty much me. I'm an artist as well too, though. Instead of 2D art, I've been pivoting a little bit into 3D art, and my using the skills in graphic design and art that I have to improve and better my streams and give advice on that for anyone else who gives me a little poke about it.
So, did you receive like a lot of formal education on these things?
Before I started my graphic design, I was a self-taught artist. So I actually have a lot of like self-taught training in traditional art. I'm talking like watercolor, uh, acrylic, oil painting. I used to do like animal, like pet portraits as like a side hustle when I was like much younger, when I was a wee lass. And I pivoted back then into wanting to learn digital art because that's where I saw things were going. Traditional art, of course, is still totally relevant, but a lot of people that I knew at the time and industry standard was definitely pivoting towards a digital space. So I grabbed onto that and I was like, I want to learn this. And that's pretty much been my entire life. I find something that I'm like, ooh, that's so cool. I want to learn that. And I then I jump ship and I hop right on into it. And you could say the same for a lot of other things that have kind of gotten me to where I am at the moment.
So, Isle, what about you? What are the kind of things that you're into, bud?
Yeah, I'm a guy. Uh, I kind of just float around. You know, everywhere needs a janitor, right? Think of me as the janitor. And let me tell you, there is a lot of hallways to clean. I don't even know why we have so many of these, to be honest with you, but there's a lot of them. And yeah, so I usually just help out here and there in the background when people need it. I'm the cameo guy. I come in, I do the cameo thing. I say my iconic line. I don't know what that is, but I do say it.
You're saying like the
Um,
janitor, but like how much of that is like going into the background and shooting people that Frey needs you to shoot?
that's a lot. That's like that's a lot.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. We don't talk.
So that's the iceberg part we don't talk
Kicks the
about.
body into the closet.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Just don't
poke.
look in the closet. Just don't look in the closet.
Exactly.
So, how did you guys manage to meet? Let me know about that right now. You guys have known each other for a long time, right?
Same way that we met. Yeah, we've known each other. But we've known each other for quite a while, and it's actually we met the same time as we met Null. So we've been kind of a trio for quite some time. We met in VR chat, which was a lot of the catalyst of me deciding to go 3D instead of 2D when it comes to VTubing. And yeah, we were just hanging out, the three of us individually, were just hanging out in a public instance of a pug one night. And and yeah, we all got along, we friended each other, and the rest of it is kind of history, really. We've just kind of been a dynamic trio for a while now, and it's just kind of very natural friendship bloomed from there.
Yeah. Well, so I have to ask, as far as like a general sense, you guys have very unique voices, and I think both of you have probably heard this quite a bit. I mean, like it definitely stands out. And considering that you guys have met so often on VR, how
Mhm.
often do the both of you get approached simply on the quality of your voice? Genuine question.
No, quite a lot. Quite a lot.
So
Okay.
much, you have no idea.
You guys probably get
The
all kinds of
funniest
weird
thing
offers,
is
huh?
hearing all. Yeah,
Mhm.
I've heard so many people compare my voice to people that I'm like, I don't even sound like that. It's been all over the place. Some people say I sound like Swagger Souls. Other people I've even heard like Total Biscuit. I'm like, these are radically different people. We gotta get consistent with this. All right, yeah, two different
I can actually
sounding
really
people here.
I can totally understand that too. I don't have as like a unique voice as I think the two of you do, but even I've gotten that a few different times, and I swear to God, and I think we've had a conversation about this. I got compared to Ludwig recently, and I've never even seen Ludwig. I don't know how accurate that is. But I've heard the guy's crazy, so I don't know if that's a good comparison or not. I don't know. I don't know. I know jack all
It was
about this.
probably on the quality of voice and not personality.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so as far as like VTubing space stuff is concerned, Frey, I have to ask, like, what is the big thing that really kind of drew you towards that as a medium?
I think that I've always been very interested in it, just because it leans on art so much, so it's very, like, artist adjacent. But I for years and years and years before streaming was even a twinkle in my eye, um, people would watch me play a game or watch me interact with something or just observe me and go, haha, that's really funny. Or, make a comment here and there of like, that was entertaining. And it became more apparent when I played scary games because, as you might know, I'm very reactive. I spook easily. Um, and it doesn't bother me. Like scary games after the rush of the scare, I'm chill. I'm cool. And so it always reminded me of YouTubers like Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, the big shots, and how entertaining it was to watch them get a good scare. And I started thinking to myself, well, maybe we should give this VTubing thing a swing. I didn't like the idea of appearing on screen as like a cam, like on cam. Um, and it's much more comfortable and approachable as a VTuber. So honestly, it was kind of a no-brainer at that point. If you really don't want to appear on screen, but you want to have fun with friends on stream and or by yourself playing a solo game, it's way less scary of approach to streaming than just putting your whole self out there. And I really like that because there's a lot of people that I'm sure would really love the safety net that VTubing allows you. Um, and that kind of broadcasting is probably a lot more approachable and we get to see a lot more unique people because you get to be a VTuber. This technology exists.
Now, genuine question
Yes,
to the
Paris,
both of you.
scaring me is totally great.
It adds to the content, to be fair.
It really does. It really does.
Your personal opinions on this. If somebody was actually just considering getting into streaming, VTubing, all of this stuff in general, what do you think is like one of the biggest ways that people can make it work for themselves? And I'm not talking just like success wise, but even just integrating it in your life, because we're all adults here. I think we can frankly say we're not as young as we used to be, and we all have adult lives to deal with. So like, how do you make this work? Like, how do you integrate it in your life, and how could you actually put enough effort in to feel like it is enough to make it worth it?
Well, if I could go first.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
I personally feel like I got hung up in my experience I got hung up on stream quality, right? It was audio, how I appeared on screen, but what I think really helped me most is getting my presence on stream, right? Getting used to talking by myself, not being bothered by there only being a couple of viewers in chat, not allowing myself to get discouraged. Technical difficulties can also really color your feelings towards it. There's been a few times where I've run into very severe technical issues and been like, maybe this isn't for me. Like I'm struggling to get things going. And unfortunately, your technical issues can really be a bit of a bottleneck for some people. But if you start out small, like don't be afraid to start out with a PNG tuber. The majority of my first year and a half, like the 3D model is only somewhat recent, right? So I still was able to build a following and find some kindred spirits in chat with even just a PNG tube. It was totally fine. So I think that people shouldn't be discouraged by just having a PNG tuber. It's like your personality and who you are should be the reason why people show up and stick around. So focusing on that, I think, is really important.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's about setting realistic expectations of what you need to start with and of where you're at, with what resources you've got. And ultimately, you got to have fun with it, right? If you're starting off and it's too stressful, you just don't have the time to dedicate to have fun, to have a joyous time. It's just not worth doing, right? So I think the best thing you can do is wait until you're in a place where you can comfortably couple hours here and there. Doesn't have to be a lot, doesn't have to be everything, but you do have to enjoy it.
Oh yeah, for sure. If I wasn't having fun VTubing, then like what's the point, right? And if you're not having fun and you're just getting frustrated about viewer count, about how your model looks, blah blah blah. If you're not having fun, chat's gonna feel that and it's gonna kind of kill the vibe.
Mhm.
And I feel like the whole point of VTubing is having fun with your community and being entertaining and providing a service in escaping, the humdrum of everyday life, hanging out with your favorite streamer, experiencing a game with them, having a laugh, sometimes at their expense because y'all like to really spam that jump scare redeem. I swear to God. But
Teehee.
regardless, it's supposed to be fun, like Isle said. Yeah, teehee.
I've never hit that button before, not even
If you're
once.
not having fun, yeah, never, not even once. Yeah, likely story. But yeah, like if you're not having fun with your chat, then what the heck are you doing, right?
No, I perfectly agree. I think that like there's a big part of that has to be incorporated into the day to day of what you're doing. Otherwise, like you can't really expect to do it for the long term. If it's just like a short burst of motivation, you're not going to have the consistency you need to make it worth your time.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Demi is reminiscing on the time we played Peak together, which was also a really fun time. Actually, I think past the time whenever we were playing stuff with Mimicat, I think the first games I really got to play with you all that much, Frey, were on Peak. I think, which was a pretty big game this year. I think for connecting with people in general. Let's hear
I,
it.
I I love Peak for collaborative gameplay, um, because like it's a really great way to get you helping each other in a game. And there's plenty of downtime to yap at each other and chat. It's such a great game for collabs.
You can almost say that it's peak for that.
Oh, you.
Nice.
Well, so I have to ask this as well. You guys, especially since from what I understand, both of you have a little bit of an interest in this kind of thing. If you're like actually trying to throw yourself out there and get big on YouTube or through Twitter, X, social media, TikTok, whatever. How do you go about choosing a brand? Like that's something that's very difficult and has to be very personable and fit you very well. But this is something that I know you both have an interest in, right? I think I've
Mhm.
heard both of you talk about this.
Yeah, I love branding. Oh my god. Yeah,
Hop
don't
on.
get me started.
Let's get you started. That's the
I
whole point.
I love branding. I love like brand like so a lot of streamers and YouTubers and what have you, like their entire brand is going to be personality based, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even just like a lot of what you can learn that works is simply just by looking at already successful VTubers and streamers, right? What works for them. And it depends entirely on the audience that you're trying to cultivate, right? So obviously, if you're going to be a VTuber, your uh, what you're looking to draw to you is a personality based community. If you want it to have a certain feel to it, like let's say you want like a really good feel good kind of community, there's plenty of YouTubers that you can look at, like Iron Mouse, for example. She's got beautiful pastels. Her logo is very like poppy VTubery. You've got like motion to the logo and everything, and everything else kind of follows. With VTubing, I find that if you start with the look of your model, everything else can kind of follow suit, right? So she's got her pink and her purple and her white as her her brand colors. That also goes into the logo and the rest of her branding as well, with her background and what have you. Um, VTubing is very artsy, and so a lot more opportunity with branding than maybe a more corporate uh, company, where maybe you've got a logo, some stationery, maybe the front of your building, the signage, it'll all look the same. But with VTubing, you can be like you can put your branding into everything that you do, as well as your collaborations. When it comes to like branding and growth, I really do believe that looking at the titans who have come before, seeing what worked for them and the kind of communities that they've been able to cultivate, and almost following in their footsteps, but making it your own as well too. You don't want to copy people one for one, but you can learn a lot just from watching other VTubers. And that's why I pay very close attention to what other VTubers do in this space, because they're essentially setting an example. Some examples are great, some examples are not. And you can learn even from folks having missteps in their own career. Um, Sending establishing your model look first and foremost, I think is a really good stepping stone, because you'll want those elements and things like your logo and your promotional banners and your socials. You'll want that feel to carry through on pretty much everything. When they look at your logo, you want them to think, oh, that's Spooks the Monster Man, or that's Freiath, or that's so and so. As soon as they see it, you want them to identify you first and foremost.
Well, I pretty much agree with everything Frey said. She summarizes it pretty well. I would just add on to that, which is, while marketing is very important, enjoying your own design that you come up with is very important too. It's very easy to find something that has good marketability, but maybe you don't resonate with. So it's about that middle ground. It's making something that you love, but also isn't going to be terrible as far as putting yourself out there. Because I'm just gonna say, look, if you still have that Xbox username where you're like XX Phantom Pain XX, all right, maybe we might want to rebrand a little bit.
Are you saying teen edgelord is not chic right now?
Maybe in some corners, but
So I would say, what
yeah,
what would be
yeah,
like the hardest part about
I would
like
hope.
incorporating your idea, like your model and everything into your brand? Like what do you think is probably like the thing that is the biggest obstacle towards that?
Deciding what you like. I've like deciding on how your character looks can be very difficult for some folks, because there's just like there's so much inspirational content out there. You look at other people and you go, oh well, how do I want my model to look? It might not be like that might not be a difficult thing for some folks, because maybe you've had like an OC since you were 12, and you were like, putting that shit in crayon. Like but like for some folks just starting out, maybe they don't really know what it is, like what the look that they want to go for. Um, you want as Isle suggested, you definitely want a name that fits. You want that name to be consistent across as many socials as possible, because that's how people are going to find you. Um, Making sure that you do the footwork, like having those things easily linked in your bios, um, but figuring out your style and how you look and how you're going to be portrayed to others is a really big important step, and being consistent in that look is, in my opinion, quite important. uh, I'll go back to my Iron Mouse example. She's had like a bajillion models, um, but they're all definitively Iron Mouse. You take a look at any one of her iterations of models over the, gosh, she's been doing this for a long time. I don't even know. But like over the many, many years that Iron Mouse has been in VTubing um and setting kind of the gold standard for it, every single one of her models looks like Iron Mouse, regardless of style change or what have you. And I think that that consistency, not just across how your model looks, but with your branding as well too, is very important.
I definitely have to agree in a lot of ways too. It's very difficult to try to figure a lot of these different things out, but I think there's actually something really big that I feel like I have to throw out there for a lot of people too. Don't be afraid to fail forward. That's going to be like a big part of your growth process, and really, like, especially when you're first starting out, you're not going to know what the hell you're doing half the time. So really, like, being able to take those scrapes and then just keep moving forward is going to be all part of the process for you, especially if you are that kind of person, within the age bracket where you are out of college. You do have to work a full-time job. You are going through your everyday life. You're not going to have everything being at the peak level of performance that you're going to be seeing from all of these top level creators, because you don't have just like these scads of people supporting you. So sometimes, like, it
Mhm.
really is important to understand that, like, it's going to take you a bit to get up to the point where you want to be, and being able to accept the discomfort with that is a big part of the process.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think that and like at the moment I'm not employed. But when I was only a couple of months ago, um the struggle is so real, and like you know it too, Spooks, because you are employed. And so like you get off your job, right? You're doing your, your hours at work. For me it was like 10-hour days. um I get off work, I scarf some food down my gob, and then it's like I have to stream. Like you're not stopping, you're getting right into it. And some days you are mad exhausted. For like people like you and me, where like we have to, pay your rent, electricity bill, phone bill. We're not full-time streamers. We'd love to be, of course. Oh my God, wouldn't that be the dream? But we still have to take care of our basic needs. And so it can be very difficult life balancing when you want to be a VTuber and maybe accomplish that, you know, starry-eyed dream of one day being full-time streamer. You need to make sacrifices. And I definitely had to make some sacrifices to my time. I wanted to hang out with friends more. I wanted to make time for people. But a lot of the times, because not only was I, working, uh, feeding myself, and then I would have to jump on stream, but I would also have to spend a lot of time in the background developing my character, learning Blender and Unity, which shout out to Null Value for helping me a lot in that avenue, by the way. Um, and then, at some point, I had to discern, okay, well, I now have learned the extent of what I can learn with the little time that I have. Eventually, you, as a VTuber, will either need to sacrifice either more time to learning and developing on your own, or you need help. And for me personally, I ended up finding a exceptionally helpful, exceptionally talented editor that helped me with a lot of the more complex things about my model to make me look the way that I was. And with your permission, Spooks, I'd love to give her a little bit of a shout out if
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah, go for it. In fact, I would say
Great.
if you guys have any socials you want to post, definitely start posting them right now, especially since we're starting to get close to the end of time for right now. So if anybody's got any last minute questions you
Fantastic.
guys would like to throw out to Frey or Isle right now, go ahead and ask them now. This is your opportunity, and definitely post all socials that you want to get out there.
So I posted my editor, Samay Bay. She helps me with my model for like the complex things that I can't do myself in Blender. And she is phenomenal. She does take commissions. Her link tree I just linked in chat. She's amazing to work with, super fast and very polite. If you guys are interested in getting a kit bash like 3D model going at some point in your careers, she is the gal to talk to get your foot in the door with regards to that. So I went ahead and linked her. She's amazing. Shout out to Samay. And thank you, Spooks, so much for having us on.
No, thanks for coming
Yeah, it was a
on.
good time.
You guys are both a goddamn delight every time you guys are around. I love asking you guys about your opinions on different things. In fact, sometimes I feel like I do it too much. But it's nice to have, people to talk to about this kind of thing, because like we are kind of wading through this murky pool all together, and not all of it is very clear. And so like you do really need a lot of people to bounce off of. And a big part of that support that I was
Mhm.
talking about earlier, whenever it comes to being successful, comes from the people you surround yourself with. And that's not about like getting them to do things for you. It's even just talking about stuff.
Absolutely. If anyone ever has any questions about how I got to where I am, or maybe something about my stream that you don't know how I'm accomplishing that thing, always reach out and ask. Goodness, I think the worst thing you could possibly do is be super gatekeepy in the VTubing sphere. So I'm totally down to go over what I did to get where I've got. And happy to share that information. Or if I can't answer those questions, share resources. Samay is an excellent resource when it comes to 3D modeling, and anything else in between. I do my best to help folks when they hit me up. So for sure, just if anybody is ever curious, just let me know. I'm a DM away. Thanks for having us,
Anytime.
Spooks.
See you,
Bye.
Spooks.